Travis, this is huge breaking news for Drake Maye to get started this early in the season.
Yeah.
The concerns that come from you and I is the structure he'll be stepping into. I don't want to speak too much on your behalf, but do you think right now is the right time to be playing Drake Maye?
You deserve to speak for me, George, because you and I argued all off season about when this guy should start. And you know I wanted him sooner than later. And now we're finally here, and I have to admit, you were right, because I started to see things your way after I watched this damn team play in this putrid offense.
Yeah.
The play calling, putrid. The offensive line, putrid. The lack of weapons, right? Putrid. So, look, I mean, I've covered, and you have as well, a ton of quarterback controversies and switching from this guy to that guy, and generally they're always met with excitement. And I think it's tabled. It's like kind of tempered excitement for everyone of, yeah, sure, the Drake Maye era is starting. It's good for the young man. Go ahead and turn that page and get him in the game. But I have never seen a quarterback change met with more than this, because everybody knows the inevitable. You can't block for him. You got nowhere to go with the ball for him in terms of throwing, in terms of targets. Your best bet, which you should have did against the Dolphins, but your best bet is to run those two horses behind him.
Yep.
Ramondre and Antonio Gibson. Run them both a lot. And you can be creative with Antonio Gibson. You can be creative with your play calling, with Drake Maye's skill set. We'll see if that happens with Alex Van Pelt. I'm talking to you, but, let's see. Let's let it play out, and we'll get into the game script in terms of against the Texans. But look, George, I mean, everybody just kind of feels the same way. Man, we just hope this kid doesn't get slaughtered out there. By the way, Texans, a real defense, a great, not a good coach, a great defensive-minded head coach who's going to scheme. You don't think he's going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at the kid? Of course he is. And then right when Drake Maye's used to the pressure and these guys are coming to me in the blitz and these guys can't block for me, then he's going to confuse them and drop people back and give them I mean, this is hell on earth for a first start. Yeah. And then, oh, by the way, on the offensive side, you're going against one of the best young quarterbacks in the game in C.J. Stroud, and he has weapons galore.
Yep.
So if you get down big in this game, you're leaning on Drake Maye to throw you back into a game, because at that point the run game is negated. You get down, if you get 21 skunk like Madden, you got to throw the damn ball. It's just a mess, George. I literally am lighting a candle and saying some prayers for Drake Maye, because I have real concerns over his health in this particular matchup.
This is an absolute desperation play by the Patriots front office and the Patriots coaching staff. And this will be a disaster on Sunday.
Yeah.
You've had through 5 games, 5 different combinations of an offensive line. And if you wheel out that same starting offensive line, you have backups in 4 of the 5 spots, including a center that is still getting used to playing the position of center.
Imagine
at
that.
right tackle, you have a practice squad guy. And at left guard, you have a practice squad spot as well. This Patriots offensive line allows a league-high 48% pressure percentage on dropbacks.
Right.
The Texans lead the NFL with pressures on 42% of opponents' dropbacks. They blitz at a very high rate, and they have Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, who we've seen combined for 13-plus pressures in 2 games this season.
Yep.
I keep saying the word pressure because if a quarterback can't be settled or be on schedule or be on their spot in the pocket, that will lead to a disaster. And if you look at what Drake Maye can provide, yes, he can do bootlegs, play actions. He's more athletic. We can see RPOs, sprint outs even. I don't trust the play calling of Alex Van Pelt, because as we saw against the Miami Dolphins, when they're averaging 8 yards per rush, he only ran the ball 18 times, threw the ball 37 with Jacoby Brissett, and he lost in a 1-possession game. The most damning thing I can say is I don't trust the play calling, and that is the situation in New England. You look at this Texans defense and what they did to hold Josh freaking Allen to 9 for 30 on the field with their secondary. They said, we're going to go man. We're going to match up and try and beat us. And the Patriots don't have man-beating wide receivers.
No.
Jalen Polk and KJ Osborne, their top 2 receivers on their depth chart, are are second to last and last in the NFL in creating separation according to Next Gen Stats. This is doomed from the start, and it's not going to get better. The Jaguars defense isn't good, but they could put up 20 points, and you can't even score 17. Then you have the Jets after that, which are going to be ignited by a head coaching change.
Yes.
This offensive line is terrible. This receiving room is terrible. And you know what can overcome that? Good quarterback play and good play calling. You have a question mark of a rookie quarterback who's very raw and very young, and you have an awful play caller from what we've seen through 5 games. And I would like to reserve the right to say, let's wait 8, let's wait 10, let's wait 12. But from what I've seen from Alex Van Pelt, it's been nothing but awful play calling for the New England Patriots. They should be a run-first team. They've been anything but that, and it makes absolutely zero sense. If they beat the Dolphins in week 5, Jacoby Brissett would be your starter in week 6. That tells me the plan that you have was a farce. It was a lie. It was all BS from the start. Because if he won, he would still be the starter. And now you're going to rush this kid in, the future of your franchise, the number 3 overall pick. This is a failure that dates back to the draft by the front office. That dates back to the free agency by the front office. And this is a failure now because of the coaching staff and what they've done moving forward. The Patriots are an absolute joke of a franchise. This will be their 6th starting quarterback since Tom Brady left in free agency. 6th. What are you, the Chicago Bears? The Cleveland Browns? The New York Jets? You are now.
Maybe.
We've seen it. It's been 5 seasons. With 1 playoff appearance, and you got your teeth kicked in that lone playoff appearance. You are a joke of a franchise, and this is what joke franchises do, is this move, rushing in a rookie quarterback when the structure can't even come close to supporting them.
I like you bringing up the structure, because if you think about it, not that long ago, the Texans were a laughingstock of the league. And what happened? Now, their pick, I believe Stroud was number 2 overall, but still, you took the best quarterback available on the board because he wasn't the number 1 pick. You took Stroud at number 2, but there was an actual plan. That's why I'm glad you brought that up. Like, you had a young head coach as well, rookie head coach in DeMeco Ryans, defensive-minded, much like Jerod Mayo. You took the best quarterback available after the top pick went off the board. Texans did C.J. Stroud. Patriots did Drake Maye. So there's a ton of places where you can compare the franchises. The difference is, and why I bring this up, the Texans had a real plan. They had young wide receiver weapons alongside C.J. Stroud. We didn't know it was going to pop as fast as it did, George, but certainly he came in with weapons already there, the weapons that came with him. Then in the draft, that same draft, they took Stroud. They took another stud and Will Anderson on the defensive side and really attacked the defensive side of the ball. There was a plan. Then now, fast forward, just a year later, you go out, you get Stephon Diggs, you get a Joe Milton, you get people who can help nurture and develop your young quarterback. That's a plan. And voila, you went from laughingstock to creme de la creme. I mean, you could argue outside of Kansas City, this is a team to beat in the AFC. So, yeah, there is a blueprint in which to follow how to bring along a young quarterback and set him up to be successful. And Lord knows the Patriots are not following that blueprint at all. They took that blueprint and they ripped that the hell up. They said, we ain't following this nonsense. And it's not nonsense. It's proven that it works. Look, in terms of this game, if I can see Drake Maye have command, it almost feels like we're talking about the preseason a little bit, George, because if I can see Drake Maye have command, which we did see in the preseason, but if I can see him have command of the offense, even if it's not going well, if I can see him feel as comfortable as he can given the circumstances, if he does provide a little juice to the offense, maybe there's a 3rd and long that he just musters up, buys the time with his legs, finds someone open, gives them an accurate pass, keeps the chains moving. Maybe he's running for his life and he picks up a first down with his legs. I just need to see, he needs a flash. I need to see a couple things here or there that I can feel good about for the future. But I hate And all I wanted is for this kid to start. I hate that his first start comes in this game. I wish he had started last week against the Dolphins, where he can make a play or two and you'll win that game.
But it's not wins or losses for me, and it's not even the matchup. Is that your offensive line sucks,
yeah,
your receiving core sucks, and your play calling sucks. So yeah, we know that Drake Maye will provide those flashes. Like, he is athletic.
I hope so.
He can scoot. He has a huge arm. But that's not what it's about when it comes to being a starting quarterback in the NFL and being successful. And why I said don't start him until the offensive line's ready. Don't start him until the offensive line is ready. Do not start him until the structure is ready. Because all the progress they made from the day they drafted him in April to now, or when he'll be starting this game in October, will be undone. He will digress back to UNC Drake Maye, who is very raw, who was known to be a project, and a guy that a lot of experts, a lot smarter than me, said, sit him for a year. Get him the game action. I'm not saying don't play him.
Sure.
But play him when everything is right. And he is such an unknown. And the worst thing you can do, we literally saw the Carolina Panthers do it. They rushed Bryce Young into that starting spot with an awful offensive line and one good receiver, and with a bad offensive situation
might
overall.
be ruined.
And he came back into year 2, literally shook and a shell of himself.
Might be
We've
ruined.
seen it time and time again. You think of the top 3 picks that have started off the bat. That's Bryce Young. CJ Stroud's the anomaly.
Yep.
Trevor Lawrence, we don't know what he is, still an open book. Zach Wilson, a bust, had to play right away. Tua, we'll see. Justin Herbert's a one-out give. He had 44 starts under his belt. You look at Baker Mayfield with the Browns, eventually got him to winning playoff games. That situation was horrible. Sam Darnold in 2018, same thing, awful situation, and it took him years to get back to being a good starting quarterback. My worry is not wins or losses. I would love, because I will be watching Sunday. What do I see from Drake Maye? I'm not going to be watching Sunday looking for a Patriots win. But what I want to see from Drake Maye is progressing and taking the steps of improvement to be the guy for the next 10 years. You don't pick number 3 overall to have a guy be your starter for 3 years and then you get rid of him like you did with Mac Jones.
It's fair.
You pick him that high to be the future of the franchise for 5, 10, 15 years down the road. And you just said, look, we're going to watch an offense that literally showed you the blueprint. How do you build up a rookie quarterback?
Quickly.
Have the right play caller in Bobby Slowick.
Yes.
Have an elite receiver in Nico Collins.
Yep.
Invest in the receiving room by getting Tank Dell. Double down by signing Stephon Diggs.
Yep.
Give him a good offensive line. Give him a tight end. Give him a run game. Then we're on the other side of the ball going to see literally how not to bring along a rookie quarterback, because the Patriots are doing the complete opposite. On Sunday, they were averaging 8 yards per rush, and Alex Van Pelt looked at that and said, you know what? I'm going to throw the ball 37 times. I'm only going to call play action 4 of those plays. And the most damning thing I can say about a team with the worst wide receiver room, the worst offensive line room in the league is I don't trust their play calling above all. And that is the situation on why I hate Drake Maye starting this week, next week, and the week after until I'm proven otherwise.
That's fair. I would push back in this sense. We have to redefine success for Drake Maye. Like, I appreciate...
But Trav, a number 3 overall pick, success is, are you a second contract guy? Are you winning playoff games? And this shoots that plan in the foot.
Yes.
That's success to me. And
I would agree.
I get what you're saying on Sunday.
I would agree.
But maybe we see success on Sunday in those glimpses. But when he keeps on getting hit and not being comfortable in the pocket and gets fast feet, then the success will disappear.